Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dion and I call this channel the Crazy Troll Nation of YouTube. And I call this not chapstick. This is Tillamook mint chocolate chip ice cream, scented and flavored. I picked it at random from amongst all of the chapsticks that were so kindly friend mailed to me around this time last year. No, it was later than this time last year. On my face right now, Fenty primer, Fenty foundation. I wear shade 335, and of course the Fenty brow pencil. That's everything we have on our lids. If you're new here, hello and welcome. As I said, I do call this the Crazy Troll Nation. Excuse me for being so gross and scratching myself. I call this the Crazy Troll Nation of YouTube because just be yourself. And if other people want to be like, oh my gosh, she's weird, what's wrong with her? No, it's okay to just be who you are and to not feel like you need to be someone else or to act a way different than how you normally act. So that is the crazy part. And also enjoying doing videos and enjoying the videos that you watch, whatever it is that you're here on YouTube to do. The troll part is not caring too much about the beauty community standards. Try not to feel like you need to use a certain brand or a certain tool or even a certain technique. Use whatever you want to, however you want to get your makeup on in a way that you are satisfied with it. Sorry for poking you in the eye. So here we are about self-acceptance and self-love. Embracing our natural features, enhancing them if we want to, but never feeling like we have to. Love yourself for who you are and for how you look, even without face paint on. That's what the Crazy Troll Nation is about. It's just being yourself, owning who you are, wearing what you want to wear and rocking it, and knowing that you are amazing. I have to let you know, if you're new here, I do curse sometimes on my channel because I curse sometimes in real life. So what you see is really what you get, and what you hear is really what you get. So thank you for being here. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I appreciate each and every one of you. So today I'm really excited about this video, and I feel, how do I feel? I feel a little strange because I'm excited about using the MAC Unfiltered Nudes palette. And the reason I feel strange is because this is a cool tone palette, and I don't prefer me in cool tones. But so I'm just like, why am I so excited about this? I do know MAC formula does work for me. I know for a lot of people, they're just like, MAC is old news. But I saw this, and I was like, And the reason I was interested in this is because I had purchased Future Flame, which is the reddish one, which has Sunlit Seduction vibes. Not dupes, but the vibe is the same. And I also had the Hi-Fi color. And because of how they performed, I remembered how I always really loved MAC's formula. And so I was looking at this one like, And so I got it. But I'm excited about it because look at these colors. So if you like cool tones, this is for you. So we are going to, I think mostly, where are we going to be? I think we're mostly going to be in these two columns, which means the next look will be these two columns, which will be tricky because will these make me look ashy? But we're going to be over here today. And what I did was, because the names are on the back, I wrote down the number of the placement, and I wrote down what the shade name is. And so this will be number 1 through 4, 5 through 8, 9 through 12. And so I wrote down the number and the name so that way I don't have to keep looking back and forth. So we're going to get into it. That was the Fenty eyeshadow primer. Yeah, so let's just get started. I don't know if I'm going to do the face today because I think afterwards I'm going to do a video showing how I use the Hourglass Snake palette, which as of right now I have not used yet. I do have a video swatching it in comparison against the Tiger palette from last year. So we're going to take Sonic Chocolate, this shade here. We're still doing dark to light, outward to inward. And so I am excited. No shadow, shadow, Sonic Chocolate. And I am excited about how this is going to turn out and to see if I really actually like the look, because I don't really like me in cool tones. And this whole palette is cool toned. Sometimes cool tones pull neutral on me. And so I'm kind of hoping that's what it does, but we will see. We will see. I'm going to talk briefly about when I was saying before that I was trying out 2 different eye primers and comparing them with each other and against the Fenty. I have neither one of those anymore. It turned out that I was having a bad reaction to both of them. And it was, one was the Pat McGrath eyeshadow primer, And that to me did the same as the Artistry wand from her brand. The first time I used it, it was fine. The second time it was okay. My eyes were a little irritated. And the third time I was like, okay, this is really giving me a bad reaction. So it wasn't something where I had a reaction like right away. The more I used it, the more I was like, okay, something's going on here. And the same for the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. The first time I used it, it was fine. The second time I used it, I was like, something's happening. And by the third time, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just wait a couple of days. And I waited a couple of days. And when I used it again, I'm like, I have to just acknowledge this is really giving me a bad reaction. So I contacted a few of my social media buddies, and both of those primers now have hopefully a happy home. Actually, one of them I gave to a friend of mine in real life because she had came to visit me again. And so I asked her if she wanted to try it, and she said yes. And the other one I sent to a social media buddy, and you know who you are. I don't know if she wants to be outed that way, so that's why I'm not saying who she is. And so I'm hoping it works for her. And the milk one, I'm hoping works for the friend that I gave it to in person. So, but it was really a shame because I liked that they were both clear. Now, don't get me wrong. Y'all see I've been rocking with the Fenty eyeshadow primer a long time. That's been my go-to for years, and I do love it. But I was thinking, you know, having an alternative or just to change things up a bit would be nice. And so I like that they were both clear. I like that they weren't tacky, even though I don't mind the Fenty being tacky, because even using shimmers or the Chunky Monkeys, the shadow does stick to it. And so I don't have to worry too much about too much fallout, excuse me, or the shadow not sticking. And so I did like that aspect, but sometimes you just want something different. And so I was really excited about them. And the first time using both of those, I was like, okay, wow, this is nice. But my lids were like, this ain't nice. And so, yeah, those are gone. So I was kind of sad. So 4, 5, 6, 7. So now we're going to take this shade here, which is Hidden Album. Hidden Album. And that's going to go next to that shade, the first shade we put. So that's going to go here. So the art, yeah, it was disappointing, but I was hopeful, and that's why I kept using it. And then I thought maybe if I just don't use either one like 2 or 3 days in a row. And there was one time period where I think I did 3 looks within 24 hours. And so it was just too much with those primers with my lids, and my lids were becoming more and more sensitive. And I thought to still keep them, but then I thought that means I'm going to have to keep track of when did I last use this eye primer. And I don't know about you, but did you keep track of when you last used a certain product? And for me, especially because I always use the Fenty one until I tried those two, like, am I going to remember when I last used the Pat McGrath eye primer or the Milk Hydro Grip eye primer? They were good primers. It was a learning curve tour for me. Now we're going to take Dial Up this shade. I'm trying to get the glare off, which I don't know if okay, Dial Up this shade right here. And for the Milk Hydro Grip primer, because I was using lipstick applicators to apply them, because I didn't want to use the wand in case they didn't work for me, and I wanted to feel comfortable giving them away. When I put too much, the shadow was creasing just a little bit. The first time I used the Milk one, I didn't have like any creasing, and then the second time it creased horribly, and I'm like, what? It didn't do this before. And so I was saying, I'm pretty sure you have seen those videos by now. I was saying how I think I just used too much, and if I were to use the wand, you know, maybe I wouldn't have had that issue. So it was kind of a learning curve. But then even when I switched to, we're going back to the brush that had the second color on it. We're not adding more shadow to it, but we're just tapping here. And because I overlapped too much with Hidden Album, no, with Dial Up. Actually, it's called Dial Up the Gold. This one right here, that is right here. That's Dial Up the Gold. But then even when I switched to, I did end up using the wand with the Milk one that one time, because I'm thinking this is really working, it's really good, and I had a really bad reaction. I'm just like, ugh. So I'm gonna just stick with the Fenty. Which I do really like. Been using it for years, so it's not an issue to keep that one. I am missing Oh, Dial Up the Gold goes all the way in. So let me go back into there. So we're still in this shade here, Dial Up the Gold. And I think I'm going to take that center shade a little further over this way. So that was that story. And I called myself being all secretive because I was going to do just a video reviewing both of those, comparing them against each other and comparing them against the Fenty. But being that neither one of them worked and being that I don't have either one of them anymore, it's just, let me just talk about it in whatever video I'm doing before I forget to even talk about it. But if you don't have the skin sensitivities, I do. So we're going back to Hidden Album, this shade here, which was the second shade we put on. And we're going to just tap right here. If you don't have the skin sensitivities I do recommend the Milk one. Some people liked it, some people didn't. It depends on your skin and also what your preference is. Because some people it didn't work for, and some people they really enjoyed it. And I was curious about it when I first saw it. Still talking about the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. I was curious about it when I first saw it, but I didn't want to purchase it because I know the Fenty works for me. The brush that had Dial Up the Gold. And I saw it at, it was either TJ Maxx or Marshalls. I think it was I don't know, one of the two. And it was $7.99. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll try it. So I'm glad I tried it because now I know it's not going to work for me. So, but that's the story with those two primers. And so we're just going to be sticking with the Fenty. Now we're going to take Wedge, which is number 4. So this is Wedge. We're going to put that on the first half of our transition area. So we're just going to tap that right here. This is a There Not There shade, which is perfect for this area. So we're just going to come to like right here, to almost to where the fake arch is. And this side doesn't even have the arch. My brows, y'all, I went too far over, but I do like it this way. But when I try and do it that way, it doesn't always turn out the way I want it to turn out. So sometimes my best brows are by accident. It's like when I try, maybe I'm trying too hard. I don't know. So we're going to put that brush down. We're going to take a new one, well, a clean one, and we're going to go into this shade here, which is Uninterrupted. And that's going to go, I like this look. Like, it's really easy and it's simple, but it's pretty. And we're going to put that over here, the second half of, okay, I got a line right here. So let me go back and forth, and that line is still there. One thing with the Fenty primer, because it is tacky, if I don't blend it properly, it will create a line when I put the shadow down. And so that's one reason I was kind of excited to have like a clear primer or one that just wasn't so sticky. And because the Fenty primer does have a tint to it, if sometimes I do feel the need to put a shadow up here in this area under my brow, because you can see the pinkish tint from the Fenty primer, whereas the clear primer is not going to do that. And so I was excited to try those two primers, but nope. So I'll be sticking with the Fenty. I do want to use more of the paint pots as shadow bases, which I still do put the primer on, and then I use the paint pot as a shadow base. But I always just forget to do that. I just forget. We're going to take a brush with no shadow on it and just go back and forth, because I still see this line over here. You know what I'm going to do? The brush that had Wedge, we're going to go back to that, and we're going to tap that over top of here to see if we can camouflage that line a little bit, which I don't think. So this is what I'm saying about the Fenty primer. Shadows are going to stick. for me, like it's going to stick, and then it just won't move. But I'm trying to just cover that up a little bit, which is why I'm putting this up here, which is Wedge. And so I think we kind of got it. So we're going to leave that back to the brush with no shadow on it. And we're just going back and forth just to try to blend. And I still see that line. I don't know if you see it, but when I play it back, I'll see. And so that is that. So now we're going to take Sephora Collection 12-Hour Retractable Eyeliner. And the shade is 04 Matte Terracotta. And this is going to go on our lower lash line. So we're going to put this under here. And we're also going to put it on our inner rims, but we're going to do this side underneath first, and then we're going to go back and do on our inner rims. And so forgive me, I didn't mean to come down that far. Putting this here, my thought right now, I'm going to bring this side down further since we came down further over here. putting this here right now, and I'm thinking to put a red for eyeliner for upper lash line, but we'll see what it looks like after we put the shadow over top of it. So this, now we're doing our waterline, which is my inner rim, which some people also call tight lining. And so you see, it's a slight difference, a very subtle difference. This is on my waterline too, this side isn't. And so it just, to me, it just does like a little bit of something. And in a way it's noticeable, but in a way it's not. So what it does, or what the concept is that it makes your lash line look thicker, and which I really don't care about. I just like the look of having shadow on my inner rims, my waterline, tight lining, whichever phrase you want to use for that. And so we're finding the line, and then we're going to just run the pencil across the line. Stop when you need to blink, otherwise, for me, my eyes will start tearing. So now we're going to go back to the palette, and we're going to take number 11. This is, what does that say? Internet Star, this shade, and that's going to go on the first half of our lower lash line. So that's going to go right here. So we're starting inner corner and bringing it halfway over. That's cute. Why am I so excited about this palette? Let me know if you still check for MAC. And I kind of wasn't, but it was something about that hi-fi color. It was just so colorful. I was like, oh, let me just see what I can do with it. And then I got Future Flame, I think, at the same time, even though I'm thinking, okay, it's monochromatic, it's basic, but I really do like the looks that I did with it. And as I mentioned earlier, this eye is starting to tear. It is always this eye. No, usually it's this eye. Sometimes it's both. So now we're going to go back to Sonic Chocolate, the color that's out here on the outer half. And I was getting ready to dip into the wrong one. Yeah, this is the right one, Sonic Chocolate, because we're using these two rows. And we're going to put that on the outer half of the lower lash line. But I'm really glad that I did get those. Let me know if you're still a MAC lover. If you used to be, but you got away from it, because it was years and years. I just wasn't using MAC for no particular reason. And I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was seeing them at Sephora, like in the emails, or seeing them in store, because I had really forgotten about MAC. But then seeing them again, I'm like, you know what? I do remember liking their formula, and I do have quite a bit of MAC again now. This is the brush that didn't have any shadow on it that we buffed up here with. We're just going to take this and just buff under here for no particular reason. My inner corners are wet. And it's tearing from when I did my inner rims. It does feel wet under both of them. And you can see it traveling like down here. So we're just going to go like this. We're just going to try to blend out the shadow and make it not look like it's not supposed to look like that. So this is our look. I do think I'm still, so this is these two columns. These two columns right here that we use. Very simple, very easy. Y'all saw how easy that was. I'm gonna still take a red. I'm gonna try this new MAC brush, number 210. I haven't used it yet, but we're gonna try it now. Excuse me for the clink you're about to hear. Putting my dirty brushes away. They go into this container, and then after I finish all my makeup, this goes into the kitchen and they get washed. And so that's always what that clink is you hear, is me putting the brushes in there. So this is the Inglot number 79, and it's red. I could do a black, I could do bougie, I could do a lot of things, but I want to be funky and I want to add more colors. I could even do a purple. With this look, because it's basic and it's monochromatic, you can use any liner color you want to use. And so I am just swirling the brush in here, and we're going to, oh, this brush is allowing me to get a thin line. Oh man, I very seldom am able to get a line as thin as I want to. Wow. Okay, I'm thinking right now, but we'll see. I'm thinking right now, I want to get more of these. Even though I have a bunch of like the Esom liner brushes. Oh my gosh. What was a little confusing is on the MAC website, they have the 210, which is this one, and they have another one that looks almost just like it. And this one said for cream and gel liners, and the other one said for cream, liquids, and gels. No, it said cream, liquids, and powder liner. And so I'm like, okay, what's the difference? Because I don't want to brush to use a powder shadow as a liner, because I wanted to use them for the paint pots, which is a cream, and they're dense. And also the fluid lines, they're very creamy too. So when I went into the store, she was like, oh, you can use either one. I said, but I want the one that just said for creams and what did it say? Creams and something. Creams and gels. And so it was the 210. And so I thought it was curious that they have two brushes that look almost the same. And you can use them both for the same things. But I'm like, I just want the one for the gels. Like, which ones would be better for the paint pots? Because in my mind, I'm thinking the ones they're saying for gels and creams, that would be a little more stiff, but not hard. Stiff enough to pick up the paint pot and the fluid line and to apply it well. And I thought that the one that included using for powder, I thought it would have been a little bit more loose, because powders aren't dense unless it's a cream to powder shadow. And so I made sure to get the one for creams and powders. Yo, I like this. I like how this works. No, my wings are not the same. Are they ever? Think about it. No, they're not. So please don't say you're talking to my eyes. Please don't say you're tearing upward. I really am digging this look, and I do want to do the face, but we're not going to do the face. We're going to use this mascara, which is MAC Stack, and this is cobalt blue, because I thought let's just add a little more color. But then now I'm thinking I'm gonna use the purple, because I don't know how the blue is going to look with the red liner. And not that it really shows up blue. The only one that really shows up is the green, which is Squirt, because it's a lime green. Like, does this look purple? You can't even really see it. But so we're gonna use this one. My label on this MAC Stack mascaras say they expire next month, which is November. So I'm just like, ah. And so I'm already thinking of what mascaras to open next and not to have so many open. And I wish that they had these in minis, because I definitely would use up the minis. But they don't have them in minis, because I don't like to waste. But then how often do you use purple, green, and what's the other one? Blue mascaras. And for me, I would use them more often, because they don't really show up the color that it says it is. I mean, on the wand, yes, but on my eyes, it's like you can't really tell that it's purple, unless you're like in my face, but nobody should really be in your face like that. But so that's something I'm thinking about. And sometimes I wonder, like, would I really even use black mascaras at this point if I have different color mascaras that show up kind of black? You know what I'm saying? And I think I have another declutter coming up soon, because there were a few things I missed in my decluttering haul video. Like, after the fact, I was like, oh, this is expiring. And so I don't know what video to do that in, or just, I don't know, post it on my community tab. I don't know. But maybe I do have an idea. And okay, this is already over. You saw the declutter and haul, because that was actually a live. And I was thinking in that video, like, what else did I purchase? And I couldn't think of anything, but I do have a couple more purchases. So I'm just like, oh man, like, I'm just all over the place. So that is that. We're going to wipe off some Tillamook. What color lip are we going to do? This is a very simple, very easy look. All the shadows went on fine. There was no fallout. I do recommend MAC shadows. The palettes look better in person. If you look online at the MAC website, or even on the Ulta website, like, they look all right, but they look a little dull. But when I saw him in person, I'm like, this is really, really nice. And I was with one of my sisters. She was like, these are like really pretty. I'm like, I know. And so that's how they got me with the limited edition holiday palettes that I purchased. Because I'm like, these are so cute. And online, it's like, eh. But in person, I was like, whoa. Do we just want to pick something at random? Yep. This is 100 Mysterious Plum Sephora collection. I've been thinking, excuse me for smacking my lips, I've been thinking if I want to get back into like lining my lips. And so we're just going to take this. This is NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner. The shade is Club Hopper. So we're going to line the lips. Here's a question on top of the matte question. And I've seen it done different ways, and it's whatever you want to do for you. Do you line your lips before you put on your lipstick or after you put on your lipstick? I've seen it done both ways. I realized for me that it helps to do before when I'm using a liquid lipstick because it helps it to grip a little bit more. And I noticed it doesn't bleed into my lip lines as much, like after the fact. But then there's times I really just don't care that much. So I'm just like, I'll just put it on. So that's the lip liner. And part of me is hoping like maybe this will help my lips look a little more symmetrical because they're not symmetrical. And even now, like this side has a little peak right here and the other side doesn't. I do line my lip line. And so what you see is my natural lip, my natural lip shape. So we're going to put this on and we'll see if I can do this quickly and easily. And so it does help me to line them because then when I do this, I go kind of inside of the lip pencil line. My lips are still crooked though, because my lips are naturally crooked. But it does seem to help me. Instead of trying to run this on my lip line, I just run it on the top edge of the lip liner. And so that makes it a little easier for me. So I am trying to be conscious to get back into lining my lips. We did not double dip, but it looks a little patchy, like right here. And part of it is my lips are not one solid color. We're going to leave it like this, but I am turning the wand. The first time I dipped, I just used like this edge, and then when I went back, I turned it over and did the other edge. But this is the look, y'all. This is it. I'm going to click off and click on, and we're going to show how I think I'm going to use the snake palette. So we're going to see. So anyway, let me know what you think of this look. Y'all, MAC is just simple. It is simple. It's easy. No fallout. Very minimal kick up depending on the brush you use. We use these two columns, and look at the shadows. Like there's no kick up. It's not any dust. It's just... And they went on smooth, they went on easy. I'm loving the red for the liner, just add color to the look. Or you could have just used a dark brown liner. I think that would have looked really nice too. If you don't want, excuse me, to troll it out and do like something different. I like that the lip is purple because it just adds color to the face, to the look. And I'm excited about it. So this is it, y'all. If you like cool tones, I don't know what I was going to say. I was going to say neutrals, because it does show up kind of neutral on me. And I think it's just the tone of some of these shades because of my complexion. Like these right here, these three right here, they just kind of blend into my complexion. And even like this one right here, which we put right here under the brow. And so I think that's why sometimes cool tones do show up neutral on me, because it just kind of blends in. And my undertone is not neutral. So, but yeah, I do like this look. Right now, I can say I'm glad that I got this. This does retail for $54. Ulta, if you get it from Ulta, they have coupons, and sometimes the 20% off does include prestige. And sometimes MAC has sales too, like 25% off, 30% off. And so that would be when I would say to purchase MAC stuff, is when there's a coupon or MAC is having a sale. Because this is $54, but it's still good for a 12-pan palette for shadows that, for me, they're going to work. And you saw how quick it was, how easy it was. We put on 6 shades, and look how fast that was. You know what I mean? So it's not a lot of fuss. It's not anything complicated, but yet we have like a really nice basic, I think what people will call wearable, everyday, work appropriate look, minus, you know, the red liner. But that's what we have. So let me know what your thoughts are about that. Let me know also, I know so many questions all the time, Troll, why? Let me know if the Pat McGrath eye primer worked for you. And again, I have sensitive lids, and so a lot of things I'm just not able to use without irritation. Let me know also, and not only just me, but in the comments, because that may help somebody else as well. And also if the Milk eye primer worked for you, because I do love their face primer. So I was hoping it would work, but my lids were like, no, Troll, just stick with Fenty. So that's what we're going to do here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. As always, self-acceptance, self-love. That is the Crazy Troll Nation way. Thank you, and you will see me soon.